Here are some of the conditions that have been successfully treated by the GAPS program. You can see these allergic type things at the top, and then the three main categories of things that the GAPS diet focuses in on is intestinal problems, which can be range from IBS to celiac, behavioral and mental health disorders, and autoimmune diseases, which there's over 100, so that could be a lot. 24 million Americans have an autoimmune condition. I'm one of them. 30 million are asthmatics, 60 million have allergies, and 100 million Americans have digestive system problems. That's, what, about a third? As most of you know, these problems are growing in epidemic numbers in our children as well. Our kids did not used to be this sick. The roots of a tree. A well-functioning gut with healthy gut flora holds the roots of our health. And just as a tree with sick roots is not going to thrive, the rest of the body cannot thrive without a well-functioning digestive system. Flora. This is when it gets really sci-fi, okay? The population of microbes that inhabit the inside and the outside of our body is flora. Good or bad, this just, everything is considered flora. But there's three different types, okay? The first category is our essential or beneficial flora. These are the good guys. These are the ones that keep in check all the bad things that we are exposed to. Then we have the opportunistic flora. These are things that live in us on a regular basis, but if we have enough good bacteria, they don't take control, okay? In any given healthy person, there's around 500 different species of pathogenic opportunistic flora at any one time. But this is not a problem if your good bacteria is strong enough that the opportunistic flora can't take over and take that opportunity to cause health problems in your body. If that is the case, the opportunistic flora take over, they cause something called gut dysbiosis in your body, which we will talk about in a minute. The transitional flora are things that we're exposed to every day, grocery shopping. These are things like the flu, rotavirus, rhinovirus, all of these things that don't live in us but we're exposed to, and they come in through our mucous membranes, and if you have enough good flora, they just exit and they don't make you sick. Okay? Here's a situation where the good has been taken over by the bad, and this condition is called gut dysbiosis. And here's some examples of the bad that can be in your gut and how they have outweighed the good in your body. Several consequences to this action in the body. The main things being systemic and gut inflammation, autoimmunity, poor immune response to things, so poor immune system, and leaky gut, which is something we'll go into detail about. So if you remember back from science class, 90% of the bacteria in the world are actually good. They support good processes in many things. In the past century, though, there's been this war on germs. Through antimicrobial everything. You can get anything in antimicrobial product, to antibiotics, chlorine, fluoride, vaccines. Everything has been this attempt to eradicate germs. In doing this, though, we've seriously affected the normal balance of our bacteria in our bodies. We are facing devastating effects because of this. We have to shift our paradigm back to germs aren't all bad. Bacteria is not bad. It's actually beneficial to life. This is fascinating. Your body is merely just a shell for trillions of microbes. You have 10 trillion cells that make up your hair, your skin, your organs, which is home to 100 trillion microbes. So 10 times the amount of cells you have in your body is actually good bacteria. It's incredible. The immune system and the gut are synonymous. The immune system lives in the gut. 80 to 85% of our immune system is located right in the gut wall. So the major barrier for anything toxic in your world is your own gut flora. And the gut wall, with its bacterial layer from start to end, can be described as the right hand of the immune system. And if this bacterial layer is damaged, or even worse, abnormal, it's like fighting with your right hand behind your back. We're also taught in science that there's body systems. There's the digestive system and the immune system and the skeletal system. Everything is separated. And we've almost separated the functions together as if they function independently of each other, which they don't. It's really important to realize that the gut flora has wide-reaching effects on the whole body. The gut flora's influence on the immune system reaches far beyond the gut itself. Research is actually showing that when the gut flora is damaged, not only do the levels of IgA, lymphocytes, macrophages, interferons, cytokines, all of these immune system components, and the digestive system drop, but the whole immune system in the body gets out of balance. This process makes the person immune compromised, and GAPS people are immune compromised. So it's a battlefield inside. Try to picture that. This is what's going on. It's a war. What do the good guys do? They do some awesome stuff. They're a physical barrier. The digestive tract is coated with a thick bacterial layer, which is a natural barrier to toxins, parasites, invaders, and undigested foods. They engage the immune system. They're constantly secreting these antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral substances to keep us being healthy. They keep the pH right near the gut wall so the pathogens can't even live that are trying to invade. And they also neutralize the toxins in our bodies, the heavy metals we're exposed to, the toxic substances, the carcinogenic substances, and they also suppress cancer cell formation. But if you don't have a good population of these good bacteria, these things are not happening as the body was designed to do. The only time, this is fascinating, pre-birth is the only time a person's gut is completely sterile. And birth brings the great opportunity to populate with beneficial bacteria that will provide health for the rest of the child's life. So when you birth a child, you are giving a gift to it, your gut flora. And whatever imbalances that you might have, you're passing on to your baby. So it's really interesting to know that this population of their gut flora happens by about day 21. They fully populated their bowels. And this is usually around the time that you'll start hearing moms say their baby started to get colic and reflux and stool abnormalities and food intolerances and feeding problems. A quote from Dr. Natasha McBride is, "Colic is the result of abnormal gut flora and should serve as an alarm bell for parents to take serious steps to normalize the gut flora in a baby." That's not the message we're hearing about colic. So what damages our gut flora? Medications, antibiotics, they are the big one. In medicine, every dose you get, and in our food from feeding the livestock antibiotics, we're getting that. Antifungals, like nystatin and diflucan for yeast. NSAIDs, Advil, Aleve, these things for a headache or a sore knee. Steroids, whether it's oral or inhalers for asthma. Hormonal contraceptives. Heartburn medications, there's tons of those. Pesticides, and chlorine and fluoride. These are some examples of things that are damaging, continually damaging our gut flora. There's also diet and lifestyle things like sugar. Sugar is feeding the bad guys. Processed carbohydrates, feeding the bad guys. High fiber from grains. This really trips people up. I thought grains were so good for me. Well, if you're full of bad bacteria, that fiber is nice little habitat for food for the bad guys. Formula versus breastfeeding. stress, alcohol, environmental toxins, which is everywhere, antimicrobial soaps, and chronic disease. These things, part of our culture in so many ways, are damaging our gut flora in a profound way. Got us to the point where we are now. All right, we're going to do some anatomy, okay? Track with me. Here's a picture of the digestive system. The large tube is the large intestines, and inside of that, the small squiggly one, that's the small intestines. This is where absorption of food happens, in the small intestines. Okay? Here we have villi. This is the finger-like protrusions that line the small intestines. Okay? This is where absorption happens. And even on a smaller scale, on those villi, there's our little enterocytes, and that's the cute little character of that. The enterocytes are very tiny, and these little guys line the whole villi, okay? And what they do is they're constantly secreting these enzymes to break our food down to its smallest component. So the enterocytes are there, breaking the food down, and once the food gets broken down, they absorb it, they pull it into the villi, which sends it to the whole rest of the body, to the bloodstream. These are the point that digestion is happening at. This is the simplest place it's happening. So, when the enterocytes are not nourished and strengthened properly by, can we guess what they're supposed to be nourished by? Beneficial flora. When they're not nourished by this good flora, they become weak and diseased and may even turn cancerous. And at this point, they're not doing the job that they were supposed to do. The gut flora is our housekeeper. It's taking care of things in our body. And the state of the house and its ability to do its functions are directly related to the beneficial bacteria. Without the care of the beneficial bacteria while under attack constantly from the bad guys, the whole structure of the gut actually starts to change, starting a process of disease developing. Leaky gut syndrome. This is all progressive, okay? This is all connected. The gut lining is the screen door into our house. Due primarily to damage of the normal gut flora, large spaces actually start to develop in the gut lining. This allows pathogens, toxins, and undigested foods that are not supposed to be there to leak into our bloodstream. A normal gut is semi-permeable. It lets in what it's supposed to, and it keeps out what it's supposed to. It's like a good screen on your front door. You don't want dirt and leaves and bugs in, but you do want the fresh air in. So a normal gut has that function of being semi-permeable. It has to decide what comes in and what doesn't. A leaky gut is permeable. It's letting everything in, just like this black screen door. So this process actually starts to degenerate the villi. I put that picture up again to remind you what that is. So these start to become degenerative and unable to digest and absorb our food properly, which leads to malabsorption, nutritional deficiencies, and food intolerances. When the housekeeper has not been around to do their job properly, leads to leaky gut syndrome, and that's what the inside of our body looks like. Okay, so this is a very important part of the GAPS diet. All sugars have to be broken down in their smallest component, a monosugar or a monosaccharide. That's how the gut actually absorbs them. So a monosaccharide is one sugar molecule. These easily penetrate the gut lining and they don't need digestion. Then we have a disaccharide. This is two sugars connected. Double sugars require much harder work for the enterocytes to break them down to be able to absorb them. And then you have the polysaccharides. These are many sugars combined in a line. They're the most complex and very hard to digest. Often thousands, up to 600,000 I read, of monosugars connected together that these little enterocytes that are weak and diseased sometimes have to break down to use as fuel for the body. This is a problem in a lot of people. This is where the diet comes in. Weak and diseased enterocytes have a very hard time digesting these things, the disaccharides, the double sugars. Lactose is an example of that. And the polysaccharides, starch is an example of that. So this actually leaves large amounts of it completely undigested, and guess what that does? It's the perfect food for the bad guys. It's feeding these pathogenic yeast, bacteria, and fungus, and other pathogens. It's constantly feeding them because it's not being broken down properly. So people with weak digestion because of poor gut flora and sick enterocytes have a terrible time digesting these things, okay? So it's leaving all this food for the pathogenic stuff to feed upon. But the good news is you don't have to figure out what each food has. Oh, does this have disaccharides? Does this have polysaccharides? That's what the GAPS program actually has done for you. It's told you the foods to eat that are the most easily digested so that your body can heal, okay? Who's going to read this quote for me? I'm going to call on someone. Do you want to read it, Yvonne?
No.
No. Okay, go ahead, Tori.
A well-functioning gut with healthy gut flora holds the roots of our health. And just as a tree with sick roots is not going to thrive, the rest of the body cannot thrive without a well-functioning digestive system.
Thank you. As we know, the roots of a tree, invisible, hidden deep under the ground, play a crucial role in the well-being of every branch, every twig, every little leaf of that tree, no matter how proudly high and far they may be from the roots. In the same way, the diverse and multiple functions of the gut flora reach in the body far beyond the gut itself. All right, we're going to take a break now.